Hey kids, I'm back. In this video, it shows us how Power and Water find water in your community and get the water to your house and the school. It's a big job. There's communities everywhere in the Northern Territory. So let's see how they do it.
Mala, our music is growing. I'm using my money. The river is flowing. Can you feel the wind blowing? Young Mongale Magia. Mia, Paderamo, so Mariuna, 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 Mariuna.
Let's try water!
Wherever your water comes from, water is precious in nature, and tap water is precious too.
Every community has their own water story. Over to you, Jet and Kale.
Thanks, Baker Boy. So how does the community water story start? Well, the big job starts with Power and Water finding water.
So in the Northern Territory, our water comes from two main sources. There's either surface water or groundwater. Up north, we use surface water from dams and rivers in Katherine and Darwin. And pretty much everywhere south of Katherine in the Northern Territory, we get water out of bores.
For most communities, we find your water down here. Right down here. We have to know where to look. No, it's deeper than that. Way deep, deep down underground, we have to drill holes and find water down there.
So water is stored underground in aquifers. It's not actually a big cave underground as you might think. What it actually is it's water stored in the little holes in between the rock and the sand that's underground. So if you think of a dry riverbed, when you pour water into the ground there, it seeps straight in. Rocks are the same, and different layers of rocks have different porosity. So with our bores, we target the high porous areas, which are things like sandstone, which when you pour water on it, it can actually absorb into the rock, and we're getting the water out of that. It's not actually a big underground cave, it's just all those little gaps in between the rocks being filled up with water.
So your water comes from deep underground. It fell from the sky a long time ago, and now we can get it. But how?
We know where the water is. It's a long way down. So we've got to suck it up. We use this big pump over here. It's called a bore. And we suck the water up and we put it in this pipe. It looks a bit like this, but a lot bigger. And we pump it along a really long pipe all the way over there to the next step.
Now the water's made it to the big bore field tank behind me. Now this is where we clean the water. In this shed, there's a whole lot of gear that takes the water from looking like this to this, ready for drinking. And then we send it on into the community, don't we, Kale?
In Darwin, we've got Darwin River Dam, which supplies about 40,000 million litres or 40 gigalitres of water a year to all of Darwin. And that dam is along the Darwin River, collects the water in the big wet seasons, it overflows. But if we don't get a good wet season, that dam is very close to its limit of supply. So that's why we need to be cautious, even in Darwin, of conserving water, because if we don't get a good wet season, the next year we could be in trouble. So the tank behind me here holds about 32 million litres of water, and in Alice Springs, so we've got a population of around 27,000 people. During summer, we use about 40 million litres of water a day. So this tank is 32, so a bit more than one of these tanks a day.
Now we know how we get the water and clean it. But what happens next?
We're here. The water has made it into your community. And this water meter is how it gets into your home. There are so many ways that we use water. We might drink it. We might have a shower. We might water the grass. And we might even use the toilet. But what happens next?
Last step in this water story is a sewage pond. That's how we look after the wastewater.
Now the water's made it to the final stage of the community water story. After you flush that toilet, the water goes down the drain, it makes its way here to the sewerage ponds, where natural processes clean the water and it evaporates up into the air, forms clouds and falls as rain somewhere else. Then the whole process can start again. Back to you, Baker Boy.
And that's it. See you, boys. That's the big job that Power and Water have to do to bring water to your community from the clouds to the cup. Have you ever thought about this before? Who looks after your water in your community? And how do they do it?